4 moments away from tip-off between the Samford Bulldogs and the VCU Rams. One side will come away with their first win on the season. It's TJ Wingert alongside Ed Nixon taking you through all the fun. And Ed, now we got to talk starting lineup. So we had Jermaine Marshall highlighted as a player to watch. We talked about it a little bit just a moment ago in the VCU tip-off show. One change in the starting 5. Rylan Jones coming off an 8-point showing that was second best against Purdue, and he gets his first start with the Samford Bulldogs.
And I think it's intentional. I think it's intentional that he's here starting against his former coach. I think he has a great understanding of what Coach Oder wants to do, and his coach, Mr. McLean, knows exactly what he wants to do.
So you have a former Utah State player head-to-head with his former head coach, Ryan Odom. We'll show you the VCU starting 5 right now. It's the exact same 5 from Monday night. We talked about Shulga in the pregame show as our player to watch. And then Zeb Jackson, the only other player for the black and gold to reach double figures.
And I'm looking for Zeb Jackson to really impose his will and get comfortable with his own game. This year he's stepping up in a new role. He's going to be asked to do more, and I think he's more than ready to do that.
And the other key players in tonight's contest are officials Trey Styons, Ryan Sassano, and Joe Switzer. You now know everything you need to know in a head-to-head matchup between the 0-1 Samford Bulldogs and the 0-1 VCU Rams. First meeting between these two sides inside the Siegel Center. And it is a sellout crowd on hand tonight. VCU looking to avoid back-to-back home losses. They did have it happen once last season, but, man, back-to-back home losses for the Rams, they are few and far between.
Now, if they can do what last year's team did, I'll take the back-to-back losses.
It's a chore, and Furman taking center stage. Samford, a squad that went 8-7 on the road a season prior. VCU, of course, highly talented 15-3 home record a season ago. Tip is up. We are underway. Bulldogs garner the opening possession. Graziani, one of the transfers that made their way to the Samford program. He stands far side corner. Sent down low. Opening bucket comes courtesy of A.J. Staten-McCray.
And Samford is already in their press, and that's what they want to do. They want to be in your face 94 feet all night long. VCU is going to have to handle that pressure and attack that pressure and see if they can get some easy buckets out of it.
Shulga takes screen right from Furman. Backdoor cut, Jackson. Dish to the corner. They'll say that Bell, foot on the sideline.
Not the way you want to start off if you're VCU. However, you can take away they had some good ball movement right there.
In the first half for both these sides, and their season opener was a tough one. Obviously, Samford against Purdue, they trailed the break 51-17. There were points in the first half as VCU gets the turnover right back, and that's the bounce back you wanted to see after turning it over your own right. But ultimately, it was at one point a 20-point deficit at home against McNeese State, who figures to be a really good squad, but again, feels a little uncharacteristic for this Rams squad.
Absolutely, and it's a hard thing to imagine being down 20 opening night in front of your home crowd. But however, this is a completely new team, and I urge all VCU fans to be very patient when they go through this process. And
the good news is it goes from a 20-point deficit down to 12 at halftime, and ultimately you lose by 11. And that second half got things very, very interesting, and ultimately VCU did win the second set of 20, 36-35. Kickball, possession's going to stay in the hands of the Rams.
And what is this a matchup zone or a 1-3-1 that Samford is in right now?
Former player, I ask you the same question. Looks like a matchup zone to me.
Looks like a matchup zone. And with that, you're going to have to get some penetration, some flashes to the middle, or some low post possessions.
Pull up Jay Jackson. This is long, board to Graziani. And it is a matchup zone as Samford works in transition the other way. Staten-McCray looking for 2 more, kissed off the glass, and he's got it. But if it is a matchup zone and you need that player to flash in the middle, in your eyes, who is that? Is that Kwani, Christian Furman? Who's going to be that guy kind of orchestrating the offense?
You would love for it to be Kwani. He's a little more versatile than Furman is at this stage in his career.
Nice pass. Jackson back to Furman. Some contact, no whistle. It was Rylan Jones collecting the board.
Furman has to squeeze that ball and go up very strong.
Furman was a regular last year for VCU, but not necessarily in the starting 5. Here, nice defensive play. A block. Corrals the board. VCU works back right to left, across from Jackson, the transfer from Michigan, stumbles on his way to the cup, but they'll say he was tripped. Inbound from underneath the basket on the way for VCU.
But to talk about that matchup zone, you're going to have to take advantage of what the defense gives you. And you can't really take advantage of it if you keep the ball on the perimeter. They're going to have to find a way to get 2 feet into paint to create. Zeb Jackson did a really good job of getting 2 feet in there. Good dish off to Furman. Just got to finish it.
Shulga inbounds. Again, more on Furman. 14 games played last season. Jackson drives to the left. Gets it off the glass and opens the scoring for the VCU Rams. "14 points in the opener for Jackson a season ago. Averaged a little more than 5 points per contest. Likely a larger role this season for Jackson. Rylan Jones looking to pass instead. Layup attempt. Misses strong. Whistle on the play. Goes against the Bulldogs.
And what you like about Samford is they really run their offense. They are crisp. They are passing the ball, swinging it, moving it side to side, and they're getting pretty good penetration. They're just not finishing that well.
There you saw nice penetration for Jackson. The only 2 points thus far. A little short of 2.5 minutes into the contest. Double team in the corner. Last place you want to find yourself.
That's what you call the coffin corner. You don't want to get yourself in there because the baseline and the sideline basically are 2 other defenders on you while you have 2 more defenders. So VCU has to clean that up immediately.
I tell you what, I had a hard time shaking double teams. Throwing a squad of 4 around me, not ideal. Hand off to Jones. Marked up by Jackson. Shot clock at 14. Dish near side. Staten McCray, who opened up scoring, lines up the 3, off iron, rebound to Shulga, who you can already see, not in the scoring column, but been everywhere else so far for VCU. Here, lost control, able to get it back, sprawl on the floor, and ultimately it's going to be a foul.
And this is what Samford wants to do. They are going to press you, make or miss. So VCU has to find a way to handle that and be aggressive and be strong with the ball, or this is going to get real ugly really fast.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, when you're facing that type of defense, quick decisions are your best friend. But when it's a whole new starting 5.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of continuity here. Quick decisions can be tough when you're still trying to figure out where a guy's going to be, where I should be, things of that nature.
Here we are back in this matchup zone. And this is similar to what McNeese State did on Monday.
First sub of the contest, it's Garrett Hicks subbing in for the Bulldogs. Jackson drives. Furman is looking to send it to top of the key. Shulga instead bounces out to Bell. His runner no good. In transition, Jones, even numbers. Hicks fouled on the way up.
And see right there, Samford is pushing the ball so fast off that miss that VCU, they can't sit back and point. Somebody has to physically stop the ball and everybody else get matched up. That time they caught themselves pointing, led to a foul.
So now we get to see Garrett Hicks. First free throw attempts for either side. Hicks, not necessarily his strong suit from a season ago. 12 of 39 on free throw attempts a season ago.
Good foul.
No one to start the night. Likely something in the scouting report. But Hicks a year ago averaged almost 13 points per game. He's another transfer to this Bulldogs program, hailing from Alabama A&M. 31 games played and starts last year.
Want to hear a quick story about Alabama A&M?
Let me hear it.
When Coach Grant decided to leave to go to Alabama, I was unsure whether I was going to stay at VCU. My cousin was a coach for the football team, and he was basically recruiting me to come there. I made the best decision.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, one Final Four appearance later, I think, and hey, you know what? VCU got a little bit of a pipeline to the NFL too. Mo Alley Cox, hopefully you're watching, my man. Need you this week for my fantasy squad. And down to Bell, and the full court pressure continues. Jackson with a seam, trying to dump it off to Furman. Broken up, nice defensive play from Achor. Back the other way. Holloway led the way in scoring for the Bulldogs against Purdue. Hicks for 3. Touches rim twice, rattled out. Ball still loose. Last touch by Furman.
And you got to love the fight that both teams are playing with right now. It makes for a great game. Zeb Jackson, the previous play, he keeps trying to feed Furman the ball. However, I think you need to throw it to Furman at a high point so he can gather it. Low bounce passes may not be ideal for him.
So the inbound comes from the far side. Hicks defended by Jason Nelson. Transfer from the University of Richmond. Team defending here near side. Pass down low. Stud McCray denied. Had it bounce back into his hands after the rejection from Furman. Couldn't reel it in.
And this is where Furman excels. He can rebound and he can block the ball.
Here it is one more time. Clean all the way up. And Ed, I mean, kind of an eerily similar beginning of the season that Jalen DeLoach had, right? Like a defensive stalwart, could really hold it down low. The offense was a little slow, but push came to shove. You play a couple games without Ace Baldwin, got to find some offense. And next thing you know, DeLoach just dropping double-doubles left, right, and center.
And that's what you hope for, development.
Here comes Nelson. Right-handed floater. Sinks it. Rams trail by 1. Looking long, connecting on the pass. Allen's patch, kicks it out. And Samford will reset. Hicks drives. Ultimately gets it on the return. Free throw line. Again, pass down low. Allen's patch, a freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina, 4-star recruit per ESPN. Corner 3, knock it down. Josh Holloway. Again, a team best 11 points against the Boilermakers. He's got his first 3.
I think VCU did a really good job of fixing that. However, Samford's constant ball movement led to an open 3 in the corner.
Shulga inside the arc. Be the first foul against the aforementioned freshman from Charlotte, Allen's patch. And that'll send us the other 16 media timeout. We'll step aside and come back. 8-4 early lead for Samford over VCU here on ESPN+. Visiting Bulldogs lead by 4, and you see the huddle there on the far side under fourth-year head coach Bucky McMillan. Back-to-back seasons where he's led the Samford program to 22 or more wins. You see the overall record there for former high school standout coach, 5 state championships at that level, and that consistency has certainly translated up here to the Division I ranks. And then on the other side, first-year head coach Ryan Odom in his second game leading this VCU program. So 2 different styles of play being coached up, and then 2 different levels of experience at the Division I level. Really just 2 different backgrounds of how they ended up here at tonight's game.
Absolutely. And winning 5 state championships is something totally. You can't take that for granted. You know what I mean? Some people might say, well, college is a different game. Yes, it is, but if you have a philosophy, your philosophy is philosophy. And if it works, it'll work on many levels.
And I mean, really, the resume goes back just as far for Coach Odom. It's just at Utah State, UMBC, and then interim stint at Charlotte before that. Plenty of head assistant coaching gigs along the way. And then, not to mention, his dad's a 4-time coach of the year, 1 time in the SEC, 3 times in the ACC. That's a nice reinforcement to have in your corner.
Yeah, it's in his blood.
Yeah, for sure. Shulga near side. Yet to get in the scoring column, but he's done that a couple of times. Been able to get some fouls tacked up against this Bulldogs defense. This one will be charged to Jaden Campbell. Campbell, a senior from Ontario, Canada. Which 8 points per game. 30 games played, 6 starts a season ago.
And VCU has an enormous height advantage, it seems, in this game.
Shulga threads the needle. Up and under. Unable to set it in is Fats Phillips.
Wipe the hands off. A little slippery there.
Phillips checks into the game. First time we've seen the redshirt freshman. Kicked out far side. 3-ball. Campbell leaves it short. Offensive rebound. Collected and off the glass from Marshall. First 2 for our Samford player to watch.
And again, that's 2 or 3 times now where VCU has had the ball in their hands, but they just haven't put the squeeze on it. You got to squeeze the ball. Samford's going to be attacking everything you do.
Nelson for 3. Off back iron. Phillips got his hands on the basketball. Ultimately, he's the last to touch it. Possession awarded to Samford. Look at the early goings. We just saw the first rebound, first 2 points for Marshall. He had 6th best conference mark in double-doubles last year. He could fill it up on both sides there. But really what sticks out, the turnovers so far. Early on, but 3-1 edge there for the Bulldogs, creating those 3 turnovers against the Rams.
And we said this is one of the keys to the game. Samford needs to force turnovers if they plan on winning this game, and so far, so good.
That and then the pace. It's been evident from tip-off, the pace at which Samford wants to play. Wide open. Marshall knocks it through. And what was once a 4-point lead for Samford is extended out to a 9-point Bulldog advantage. 8-0 run coming out of the timeout. And really, just open shots for the last minute and a half for the Bulldogs.
It looks like there was no communication there. It looks like they wanted to do a switch, didn't communicate it, led to an open shot. Player to watch, Mr. Marshall knocks it down.
And Marshall may fill it up with the double-doubles, but hey, don't forget the almost 38% three-point shooting percentage last year. He really can get it done from anywhere and in any role you need him to.
Absolutely. So is even that's insult to injury right there, not guarding him. So
and he almost feels like the player that VCU's without right now in Sean Barstow, where he's big enough to play down low. He can get stuff done on the perimeter. He could be just a defensive stalwart, kind of get those boards, be the offensive focal point. Right now, 6 to 8 weeks before we're going to see Barstow in a VCU uniform.
Yeah, and we talk about Sean Barstow. You talked about what he could do on the court, but just his presence and his vocal leadership, I should say, is big for VCU. He is the oldest, most experienced player on the team, and he's out. It's hard to lead when you're on the sideline with a boot on.
And you want to know what respect looks like? Being preseason third-team all-conference, and you haven't played a minute inside that conference. So Barstow, a big-time miss currently right now for VCU. Find themselves down by 9 out of the timeout called by Coach Odom. Nelson gets a screen from Roosevelt Wheeler. Lawal, near side corner, first time we've seen Lawal on the floor tonight. Shot clock down to 4. Pass deflected once more, top of the key. Three-point shot, in and out for Phillips.
And that was an ugly possession right there. And Samford's really mucking the game up. They're almost blitzing the screen. Good move.
Marshall thought about it instead, sends it back. Jones, three-point shot, no good. Whistle on the play is going to go against Samford, and it looks like the guilty party is the aforementioned Marshall. Instead, it's actually going to go against Chor. VCU gets a stop. Long scoring drought. It's been almost 3 minutes game time since the last VCU bucket. And Jackson back to the game now.
I like this move, getting Zeb Jackson back in the game. You don't like his early turnovers, but yet he was the only one who was able to get penetration into the paint.
Shulga heads out towards the bench. First time that VCU's not had him on the hardwood tonight. No shots taken. A rebound, a couple fouls drawn. That's it so far from the transfer from Utah State. Well, we saw Shulga kind of orchestrating the offense once you get across half court. Now it looks to be Zeb Jackson in that role. Here he cuts, looking for 2 more, and he's got it.
And VCU's gonna need an extra scoop of Zeb Jackson tonight. He seems to be the only one who has a little bit of success offensively.
Game on Monday where VCU was heavily outscored inside the paint. All 6 points so far tonight are inside the painted area. Here the foul goes against VCU. Jones will inbound. And a nice defensive play. This one comes from Phillips. Now the whistle will end the possession early for VCU.
That might have been a make-up call. I'm not sure if Fast got that cleanly. It looked like it could have been a goal-tip. Good make-up call by the ref.
A true 5-on-5 scenario. They will give Phillips the block on the shot taken by Stan McRae, but Samford able to get it right back. Here's Jones, averaged a little more than 4 points per game last year for Coach Odom at Utah State. And off to Nathan Johnson. Kwani defends against Marshall. Another three-point shot. Nothing but nylon.
And I understand wanting to help, but you don't want to leave a three-point shooter open. 38% means he can really get it going.
Just like that. Marshall up to 8 points on 3 of 3 shooting to start his night. Jackson looking for space, won't find any. Nelson drives, trying to find Furman. Ball still loose. Another whistle. And once again, it goes against VCU.
I'll tell you what. At the end of the day, it's going to come to KYP. Know your personnel. It's been evident that Furman can't handle that pass as of right now. So get another dribble in, set him up a little bit more, make it a little bit easier for him.
10-point Samford lead. We'll step aside and come back with more. You're watching the Bulldogs and the Rams on ESPN+. Welcome back to the Siegel Center. 16-6 lead for Samford over the hosting VCU Rams. TJ Winger alongside Ed Nixon here courtside. And another timeout called, and really this is the point in the first half where if you're a Rams fan, you're hoping they're in that huddle. There's some adjustments being found.
Absolutely. Defensively, I think they're playing pretty hard. The efforts there, they just have to be a little bit more disciplined. Offensively, they're looking a little bit shaky. They have to figure out some way to get penetration through this matchup zone. And when they get into the paint, they have to make the right decision as far as getting the shot up. You don't want to continue to make these passes and you're not getting a shot to turn to turnovers. Get into the paint, land on 2 feet, and just go up with a shot.
And as of right now, 3 of 9 shooting from the floor for VCU and 5 turnovers. And really, as much as that's empty possessions, you're not getting points off that. For a team that's trying to find continuity and rhythm, those turnovers are no way to try to find that.
Very hard to find continuity when you turn the ball over.
So we'll see if VCU can break the trend of early ending possessions. Another more than 11.5 minutes to go here in the first half. Meanwhile, Samford feels like you can just keep rolling with what you've seen so far. You're in a good spot. Nice find from Jones. Another dish. Staten McRae fouled on his way up.
And here's what I say. As a defender, I want to disrupt what the offense is trying to do. And right now, Samford is so comfortable running their offense that VCU is a half a step late. You have to find a way to disrupt their offense to slow it down so that pass is a half a second late so you can recover. Right now, they're on their heels.
Staten McRae averaged more than 8 points per game last year and shot 76.7% from the free throw line. Tonight, he's 1 of 1. And we talked about in the VCU tip-off show, free throw line battle. Still no attempts from the charity stripe for VCU. It's about to be the 4th so far for Samford. So it's not a huge difference, but comparing now from a year ago, it's a different look for this VCU team. Pushing the back, trying to go against Samford. Guilty party being Jaden Campbell. And that will be the 7th, actually, to go against Samford. So very early on here in the first half. VCU finds themselves in the bonus, so this is exactly what you wanted to see if you're a Rams fan. Slows the game down, get some easy points at the line.
Absolutely. No time coming off the clock. Walk down. Now, you don't want to miss the front end. We did that a couple times on Monday. That can come back to bite you in the tail later on in the game.
And it's Kwani stepped to the free throw line, a transfer from California. 32 games played, 26 starts last year for the Bears. First is up and through, and he's a very good free throw shooter, 82.3% last season. Yeah, I think this is also a scoring drought for VCU that stretched beyond 4 minutes now. So give me the easy ones. Yes. Lead down to 9 for Samford. Much as we've talked about the full court pressure for Samford against VCU, VCU has not been afraid from breaking out every once in a while against the Bulldogs.
Right, and to be honest, I think the Bulldogs are going to have to find another ball handler. Zeb Jackson is really working them up the floor.
Corner 3 on the way for Billups. Misses long. He had 3 on Monday, still searching for his first tonight. Foul's going to go against Kwani.
And I really don't like that shot from Billups. I think you can pump fake, get into the paint, create some more. 1 or 2 passes, you'll get the ball back with an easier shot. Good defense by Max.
Hicks rejected. Loose ball gathered by Shulga. Kwani will drive. Lost on his way to the hoop. Marshall just barely able to keep it in. Jones in transition. VCU will have Nelson checking at the next available opportunity. Wide open, Staten McRae. Perhaps the easiest 2 he's had tonight.
Absolutely. Zeb Jackson got caught ball watching right there.
Marshall still leads the way in scoring with 8, but Staten McRae right behind him, now up to 7. Fake from Furman, in and out of the hands of Billups, and self-inflicted wounds are starting to pile up for VCU.
Turnover number 7. Now, I actually like that pass, but you got to execute. In the words of Larry June, I love potential, but I love execution more.
And that's really been the difference so far. Nelson checks back in for VCU, and for the first time tonight, Samford will have Chandler Leopard on the floor. Transferred from Auburn. He was a walk-on for the Tigers. Played in 6 games a season ago. And here is a wide-open Nathan Johnson, rejected under the rim. Loose ball. Furman finds it. No numbers advantage, so Nelson will slow the pace. Head fake from Jackson. Driving with the left. And all 6 of his points tonight have come from that exact same spot.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. Continue to attack. And like I said, sometimes you just got to shoot it. You want to pass it. You think somebody's open, but you just got to shoot it at times.
And Jackson went 2 of 12 from beyond the arc on Monday night. So gaining some early confidence tonight against Samford. And man, oh man, love to see that translate from three-point land later on. Offensive rebound for Samford. Leopard finds Staten McRae. He'll drive against Billups. Stops just outside the restricted circle. Shot no good. Rebound for Billups. Up ahead is Nelson. Crossover at the free throw line. Dish to Shulga. He'll drive left. Picks up his dribble. And another
unforced turnover. Again.
Coast to coast the other way. Nice take from Holloway, but ultimately comes up short. A lot of running up and down the court, but the difference between the two sides remains at 9. Less than 8.5 to go in the first half.
As a fan, you got to love the effort.
Nelson. This is long off the glass. Dish to Leopard.
I still would like to see VCU's communication defensively increase.
Screen and roll. Here's Johnson. Draws a second defender. Marshall, unselfish play. 3-ball. Leopard. Count it. Jackson able to shake a defender. Now forced to slow down. And we talked about VCU transition defense being a key tonight. Really, Samford's excelled in that spot. 3-ball. Jackson. No good. Furman corrals the O-board.
Spacing. What's the play call here?
Nelson driving left. First 2 on the night for the transfer from the University of Richmond.
The left side of that backboard is getting worn out.
Marshall, give him 3 more.
Way to answer.
First player to double figures tonight. Our Samford player to watch, Jermaine Marshall. Preseason All-SoCon for good reason. Shulga wants a screen, instead dishes to Jackson. First shot of the night, Shulga for 3, off front iron. Furman puts it back for 2.
I like what Christian Furman is doing this game. However, he has to get better hands, but that comes in time. What a finish right there.
Staten McRae, 6'5", 195.
He's playing extremely aggressive tonight.
And all the muscle on that play. Nelson, no good on the 3-point shot.
An early 2-pass shot from a 3. I don't like it. It has shown that it has no good results from it. VCU needs to go, move the ball a little more. That shot will be there with 5 seconds left on the shot clock.
13-point lead for Samford. 6 minutes to go in the first half. Holloway to the corner. One more pass. Johnson for 3, no good. Long rebound. Jackson there to gather. Trying to spin right. No space. Shulga lines it up again. Got this one to fall. That'll send us the under 8 media timeout. 17-27, but VCU sends us the break on a high note. The first 3 points on the night for our VCU player to watch, Max Shulga. We'll step aside, and when we come back, final 5.5 minutes between VCU and Samford on ESPN+. Matchup between 0-1 Samford and 0-1 VCU. Currently Bulldogs out in front of the Rams by 10. TJ Winger alongside Ed Nixon here courtside in the Siegel Center. And we were just talking about during the break, man, the differences tonight are clear. 8-2 turnover advantage, if you want to say it that way, for Samford. But turnovers have been a big issue for VCU. And then three-point shooting, 42% for the Bulldogs, 14% for the Rams.
And the way the Bulldogs are getting their three-point shots is the way to go about it. They're moving the ball, they're making the defense scramble, they're making the extra pass into a three. VCU, they're doing one pass into a shot. That's not necessarily ideal offense.
Sounds great pregame warm-up, right, when you're getting loose, but in-game, maybe a little bit more. The good news, though, if you're a Rams fan, that one shot was what sent us to the media timeout, though, was Max Shulga, his first 3 points on the night. So hopefully this is the beginning of more of those shots start to fall. That's going to be Bulldogs possession coming out of the break, looking to extend the 10-point advantage.
And if I'm VCU right now, I want to string together at least 3 stops, come down, get easy points.
Campbell out far side. Lucas Walls, first time we've seen Walls tonight. For 3. Indeed. Welcome to the contest for the freshman from Knoxville, Tennessee. Matching the largest lead of the night of 13. Nelson shakes the pressure. Works deep into the painted area. Finds Toby Lawal. Knocked it away. There to gather the loose ball is Hicks. Turnover number 9. Hicks almost repays the favor. Screen right from Jones, way downtown. This is off the mark. Rebound, Nelson.
Every VCU fan held their breath right there.
Oh. Jackson backs into the corner, able to get out of it. The wall looking for help. Nelson to the corner. Billups. 12 seconds in the shot clock to work with. Finds a wide open Lawal. And from that close with that vertical, oh, baby, it's easy.
Again, but you can't trade baskets when you're down double digits. You have to find a way to string together some stops. The same issue they had on Monday.
Screen from Allen's patch. Drive from Campbell. Now it's Jones on the baseline. Pass intended for Allen's patch. Now VCU's defense taking it to another level, generating the turnover. Shulga looking for 3 more. Got it and the foul.
Great patience right there by Zeb Jackson. And Cool Max knocks it down.
That'll send us to the under 4-minute media timeout. Deja vu, Max Shulga, 3-point shot to the timeout. It's 30-22 VCU eating into the deficit. Welcome back to the Siegel Center. We'll see Max Shulga at the free throw line looking to cap off, can you call it the old school 4-point play? You know, you get fouled, they say the old school 3, so, you know, maybe it translates there. But, you know, we were just talking during the break. Really, let's say Shulga does knock it down. These 4 points really come courtesy of a nice play from Zeb Jackson on the other end of the court. But there you see, tickling the bottom of the net plus the foul. A little pat on the back from the stands. Max Shulga's the king of the Siegel Center right now.
Absolutely. And to highlight what you said about Zeb Jackson, he had to play a good game of cat and mouse right there with Ryland Jones to get that steal, and then to have patience to bring the ball up and find the open man. Max did a great job of staying cool, calm, and collected and knocking down a 3.
Defense to offense, that's always been the VCU identity, and there we got to see it in a potential 6-point swing. Now we see Shulga stepping to the free throw line. First time we've seen him there tonight. Go back to his time at Utah State, 82.4% free throw shooter. Leaves it short. Rebound the wall. What good is one when you can have
2? What an athletic play right there by Toby Wall.
Don't look now. Deficit down to 6 for VCU. Momentum starting to pile up for the Rams.
Now, if I'm Samford right here, I want to run my offense. If I have to go down to the last 5 seconds, I want to make sure I get a really good shot. They go to the right man.
Marshall, a game-high 13. haven't seen a whole lot tonight, but 3 guards on the floor now for VCU. You got Jackson, Nelson, and Shulga. More often than not, it's been some combination of 2 of those 3 at a time. Shulga finds Nelson for 3. Leaves it short.
Now that is the 3-point attempt that you want to take. Wide open, you have your time, you just got to knock it down.
Nelson just 4 points on Monday. Slow start to his VCU career. Blocks from underneath the rim. A chore, and then Zeb Jackson sprawls out on the floor to gather the loose ball. Whistle on the play will go against Samford. And of course, VCU still in the bonus. Every time you see that whistle and a point towards the Samford side, well, you know it's free throw opportunities coming for the Rams. First time we've seen Jackson at the charity stripe. Season ago shot a little more than 77% from the line. Furman returns to the floor, as does Michael Bell.
And Samford has to tighten up a little bit right now. They're seeing the game kind of shift, the momentum switch drifting in VCU's favor. They had the crowd out of it for a second, but all it takes is one more stop and a shot, and this building can go crazy.
Front end of the 1-on-1 sinks through. So you have all this kind of accumulating all at once. The deficit's down to 7. One more free throw on the way for Nelson. VCU's made 4 of their last 5. And not to mention, Samford's 1 foul away. Double bonus. Guaranteeing VCU 2 free throw attempts. So this is a pivotal point here in the first half. Rams looking to end the opening set of 20 on a strong note. Nelson up to 6 on the night now. Stat McCray wastes no time. Throws it up off the board. No good. Gets his own miss. Marshall versus Shulga. Player to watch versus player to watch. It's no good. Marshall just rips it out of the hands of Shulga. Spin move, tapped out of play, and you're going to hear it from the single center after that call.
They do not like that. However, they all could have been avoided if you just secure the ball. VCU has got the rebound and thought it was all peaches and cream. Samford's not going for that. They are pressing you as soon as you get the ball. You have to secure the ball with 2 hands and tuck it away. Great pass.
Inbound right to Marshall. Kissed off the glass and in. Lead back to 8. How about Marshall? Only 3 points against Purdue. You knew he was itching to touch the hardwood tonight. He's got 15 already. Shulga, step back for 3. Indeed.
He is cooler than a polar bear's toenail. That was smooth.
Into the first half might shape up to be a little bit of Marshall versus Shulga. 2 of the hottest hands on the floor so far. .90 seconds and counting in the first half. Allen's patch, handoff, Graziani.
Now VCU, you want to stay solid. There we go, good job.
Rams get a stop. Whistle on the play. You know what that means. 2 free throws on the way for the Rams. And Ed, you said it a minute ago. This place is on the verge of blowing, and the roof is starting to stretch.
They are on the verge. And I'm telling you, VCU is starting to get it together defensively. Every shot is being contested by Marshall. They still need to do some tightening up, but however, the VCU fans are showing their appreciation.
The correction, loose ball foul. No free throws for VCU, but fans nonetheless getting into it. Chance to make this a 1-possession contest. Shulga finds Bell, corner, it's Nelson. Seen a lot more patience from the Rams as this first half is drawn on. Foul on the play, head of the line is Furman.
And if I'm Furman's teammates right now, I am getting into his chest and say, big fella, we need you dunking everything. I don't want you to try to put the ball on the backboard at all. I want you to try to put your elbow in the rim.
That rim ain't got feelings.
You're not going to hurt him.
First time that Furman stepped to the line. Knocks through the first. You go back a season. Not a whole lot, a large sample size really for Furman to pull from, but 4 of 10 from the line a season ago.
He has a funky little form. However, it seems to be going in.
You go back. 8 minutes of game time. VCU had not had a free throw attempt, and don't look now, they're 6 of 7 from the line compared to 2 of 4 on the other side for Samford. That was one of the keys to the game. We talked pregame show as well as the open the broadcast.
And the stew is starting to get loud.
It's a 3-point game. They've got good reason to get hyped up. At one point, a 13-point lead for Samford. Rams nearly get the turnover. Nelson's on the floor. And it's going to be given a jump ball. Possession awarded to the Rams.
I love the chippiness right here. You want to see the fight out of VCU. You know what I mean? They had a tough loss against McNeese State Monday, down 20 in the first half. It seemed like they were going to go that path early this half, and they're fighting back to bring it down to a 3-point game.
Well, especially if it starts getting chippy and it's right there in front of the VCU bench. Oh. You don't want to say all hands on deck, but big opportunity here for the Rams offense. 41.7 to go in the first half. There were a lot of points here opening half of this first half where a lot of quick shots. I feel like the offense just couldn't find its rhythm. Samford on the other side is clicking, and now we've really seen it shift and really flip on its head.
Absolutely. And I was wondering if they were going to try to go for the 2-for-1, but I think it's best to just get the best shot you can get.
Jackson won't take the screen, instead finds Shulga. Up and under. Furman nearly able to tip it in. Ultimately, it's going to be a rebound for Marshall. His 5th board already.
Marshall is a physical player. Blue-collar physical player. One of those players you hate playing against, but you would love to have him on your team.
Jones looking for his first 2 against his former coach. No good. Rebound. Marshall shot will not count. That'll do it. The opening set of 20. What once was a 13-point Samford lead ends the first half at just 3. We'll step aside and come back and recap the first half of action between the Bulldogs and the Rams. You're watching men's college basketball on ESPN+. Welcome back to the Siegel Center. We're moments away from the second half getting underway. Currently a 3-point lead for Samford. And look, really that felt like a turning point was at that 11.5-minute mark. You go to a media timeout, and all of a sudden VCU comes out as an inspired squad. At that media timeout at that 11.5-minute mark, VCU was a team shooting 33% from the floor. They ultimately end the first half shooting almost 43%. Much more where you want to see that percentage at. And now we get to see, will that momentum carry into the second half? Ed, as we get into the second half, what's maybe one key for each side that you're keeping your eye on?
Well, I think Samford needs to up their pressure again and also get back to running their crisp offense. They kind of got to wait for that the second half of the first half. We'll see what they can do. Now, for VCU, it's simple. Play defense, don't turn over the ball.
Both teams enter at 0-1. We got a foul on the play. As down on the floor is Jermaine Marshall. He's got a game-best 15 and game's second-best 7 rebounds, only outshined there by Christian Furman. But VCU looking to avoid back-to-back home losses. They had it happen once last year, but that was losses to Duquesne as well as Dayton, which those are 2 big games, or excuse me, St. Bonaventure and Dayton. And those are 2 games that everybody, once you get to A10 play, is circling on their calendar.
Absolutely.
And there was also 2 games sandwiched in between that. Rylan Jones, another 3-point shot. He's still without a make from 3-point land. Long rebound, though, gathered by a Chor. Another opportunity for the Bulldogs to strike first here in the second set at 20. Stat McRae started her scoring in the first half, fouled on the way up, and we'll head to the free throw line.
That's a tough call. That's a bang-bang play. Stat McRae did a really good job of seeking Michael Bell's his body, and he ended up getting the call right there.
So Stat McRae to the line. Second best in scoring for the Bulldogs with 9. These will be his 3rd and 4th free throw attempts on the night. And that ultimately became one of the big differences between these 2 sides in the first half. It was a while before VCU got to the free throw line, but that they did. And ultimately, in the first half, 6 of 7 for the free throw line. Samford just 2 of 4. And really, it was getting to the bonus with north of 11 minutes to go in the first half that aided the Rams in those quote-unquote easy points.
You got to give the Rams a little bit of credit for stepping to the line and knocking those down. You know, sometimes it can be harder than you think when the pressure's on.
And while we're talking free throws, it's ultimately a 1-for-2 trip for Stat McRae. Whistle on the play. First foul to go against the Bulldogs here in the second half. But you look at VCU, only 5 returners, new coaching staff. Okay, sure, maybe they're not going to be one of the top teams in the country getting to the free throw line. Samford team largely the same. 9 returners, same coaching staff, a lot of continuity there. For a team that averaged almost 24 free throw attempts a game last year, 5 right now? I think it's 6. That is uncharacteristic of their brand of basketball.
And we talked about not turning the ball over.
Yep.
Their first possession, a 10-second call. Good job by Samford.
And I mean, you got to think that's going to be the plays on tape that Coach Odom said, this one hit your hands, 10-second violation. Can't have those things. But it's game 2 of the season. Better to get them out now versus game 22 or something along those lines.
Absolutely.
Staten McRae. Graziani now down low. Chor. Right-handed hook. Touches every part of the rim. Rattles out. Possession's going to stay with Samford.
Michael Bell has his hands full with Marshall right now. But he looks as if he's holding his own. A freshman going against a very veteran player for Samford.
Now it's Lawal marked up on Marshall. That's where the inbound goes. Left elbow. Pass, then a handoff. Graziani in the corner. Drive, kick back out to Jones. Dump off. Achor. And the big man with his first 2 points of the night.
Great ball movement right there by Samford. And one thing I don't like about VCU's defense, I would say, is they give up way too many middle drives. When you get into the middle, the whole defense has to collapse, which leads to drop-off passes like such.
Whistle. Looks to go against Dallas Graziani, sophomore from Mountain Brook, Alabama. If that sounds familiar, well, that's the same stomping grounds as Bucky McMillan, 12 years as the head coach at Mountain Brook High School. Inbound for Jackson. Forced to loft it up. Going up top shelf is Bell. The drive against Graziani. Plenty of time on the shot clock. It's at 12. Shulga. Cross to the left. Backdoor cut. Spacing ultimately has it end up in the hands of Furman. Put back for Lawal. I think he was the intended target on that pass, and ultimately he does get the 2 points.
But it worked out. And you love to see VCU getting on the backboard. They have the height advantage and probably the athleticism advantage as well.
As of right now, the advantage on the boards, 21-19. Zeb Jackson wastes no time. Dishing out to the corner. Lawal was posted there. Tapped out of play, but they're going to first call a charge. A turnover to go against VCU. They're up to 11.
This is the definition of shooting yourself in the foot. VCU has multiple opportunities to take control of this game, get back in the lead, but every time they seem they have the momentum going, pow. Shot in the pinky toe. You ever seen Harlem Nights?
Can't say that I have, but I'm going to have to add it to my much-watched list.
You have to check that out.
Whistle goes against VCU. Shulga the guilty party.
It's a little bump there. Not too much, but it caused Graziani to take a tumble. Referee has to call it.
4 personal fouls already against VCU. It might be Samford trying to give VCU a taste of their own medicine from the first half. Get to the charity stripe early and often. Graziani, nice move. He's got space. Furman pins it against the board, but it'll be goaltending.
If the ball's going to go in, I don't mind a goaltend. Don't let them see it.
There's a 1 in 100 chance you'll get away with it. 17:20 to go in regulation. 6-point Samford lead. Intended targets. Bell picked off by the Bulldogs. Jones, 3. He remains having a tough night shooting from distance.
That is an unacceptable pass by Cool Max. You cannot just take it from over your head and throw it 30 feet across the court while being pressed. That equals a turnover.
That's really the decision that Samford's trying to bait you into.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But ultimately, no harm done for the Rams. Defense comes up with a stop. Now it's Nelson inbounding against the full court pressure. 5-second violation. If you're playing turnover bingo, I think just about every square has been hit for this VCU offense.
Goodness. And Samford is doing a really good job. VCU has to do a better job, maybe screen for each other, try to get open. And absolutely, Toby Lawal or Christian Furman have to flash up to give help release.
Bell's going to check out. And on comes Billups. 6'7", redshirt freshman, had a couple of three-point shots in the first half, but nothing doing in regards to the scoring column. Marshall works down low. This is out to Jones. Another player looking to get into the scoring column. Jones now 0 of 7 from the floor, but cleaning up the play. Stanton McCray.
Put it on the head.
McCray's now got 12. None more impressive than the last two. Billups drives right. Kiss off the glass is true.
Great finish by Billups.
Nelson with a heads-up play. Picks off the pass down to the floor. Going to be called jump ball. Alternating possession.
VCU ball.
Could be VCU possession. Billups and Marshall both slow to get up. Is indeed VCU possession. Both players now back up onto their feet. That's good. VCU already playing down without one of their key players, Sean Barstow, grad student from Australia, and a transfer from Utah State following Ryan Odom to the 804. Here's another look at the play.
The Rams probably wanted a foul on Marshall for diving on top of Nelson there, and I kind of agree.
Nelson, another transfer. He comes from crosstown rival, University of Richmond Spiders. And he heads out to the near side corner, bringing it across mid-floor. Zeb Jackson. We talked about it during halftime. First 5 minutes of the game, 2 turnovers. Since then, or at least until you get to the second half, no turnovers, but 3 assists added to the stat line of Zeb Jackson, and that's going to be the key moving forward. Cross-court pass, Nelson barely able to keep it in, finds the wall, 6 on the shot clock, spit move, and ultimately the wall called for the travel.
He traveled. It was kind of a late call. It was kind of a late call, and that's usually what people get upset about, but that definitely was a travel.
It's when the ball starts to leave the hands that then you hear the whistle and the boo birds start to sing.
And I would have got away with it.
If it weren't for that meddling third step. Graziani first to pull back out, finds Hicks. He was a starter against Purdue, not in the starting 5 tonight. Fading away, shot was tipped. Easiest rebound of the evening for Lawal. He'll take it up the length of the floor. Euro step, some contact, no whistle. Now Samford marching back the other way. Graziani has it poked away by Nelson. Off the body of the sophomore and transfer from Nova Southeastern. Big stop for VCU, and that'll send us to the under 16 media timeout. Deficit at 6 for VCU, but a good one on hand still. We'll step aside and come back with more between Samford and VCU on ESPN+. 15:25 to go in regulation. Up by 6 is the Samford Bulldogs, looking to even out their record. They're coming off a loss to Purdue, all while VCU lost to McNeese State on Monday and looking to avoid back-to-back home losses. And they've done a lot since fall behind by as much as 13 in the first half. Currently down by 6. TJ Winger alongside Ed Nixon. And you look at the scoring column between these two sides. It's kind of an interesting matchup. VCU, no players in double figures yet. 2 so far for Samford leading the way. It's Jermaine Marshall with 15, and then A.J. Stanton McCray right behind him at 12. But really, it's been a full team effort when it comes to putting points on the boards for the Rams.
Absolutely, but they've been so stagnant this second half. They didn't carry that momentum they had at the end of the first half into this half. And Samford is really getting what they want. However, they're not being able to turn their turnovers into points, and VCU's getting a break right there.
And we saw VCU struggle against this pressure at points specifically early on in the first half. And in the second set of 20, those issues have reared its ugly head once more. VCU able to break the press here. Jackson thought about it. Instead, dishes corner. This is Billups lining up the trifecta. Shot misses long. Rebound for Johnson.
I just don't like that shot. It's not a open shot. It's an okay shot. But when you're down 6, second half, you want to get great shots. Continue to move the ball, drive and kick.
VCU now 3 of 11 from beyond the arc. Toby Lawal pokes it away and forces the turnover. Nelson, full head of steam, and absorbs the contact from Hicks.
Toby Lawal has active hands on the defensive end this half. That's his second steal.
Second foul of the second half for Samford, juxtaposed to the 4 for VCU in the early goings in the second set of 20. To put a bow on my point about the three-point shooting, VCU 3 of 11 as a team. All 3 makes. One man, Max Shulga. He had 6 on Monday.
Oof.
The senior from Ukraine stays hot. He's back on the floor now, but other three-point shooting has been few and far between for VCU.
And I think that's partially because of shot selection.
Shulga drives, looking for help, dishes out. Billups, shot fake. Pass intended for Lawal down low, broken up. Another turnover. Floater, left short by Campbell. He had 11 against Purdue, looking to scratch the scoring column this evening. He's now 0 for 2 from the floor. Nelson will try one of his own. He too unable to knock it through, but here it's Lawal doing the dirty work. Offensive rebound. Now Billups with his hands on the loose ball. Foul on the play. And it looks to be against A.J. Staten-McCray.
And you got to love Lawal's activity on both sides of the court right now. A little frustrated he didn't get the foul call, but you got to appreciate the effort.
7 rebounds thus far for Lawal to 6 points, and Christian Furman's stat line very similar, 8 boards to 4 points. Those bigs are doing exactly what they need to do, especially in the rebound column, which was a key point that we talked about pregame. Who's going to come out on top of the glass? And so far, Rams with the advantage, 26-22. Jackson for 3. Off the front of the rim, rebound for Ajor. Holloway gonna get the call. It's a block.
If it was NBA, it would definitely be.
I was about to say, I haven't seen the note to say that the shot's good. They're going to say the foul was before the shot. Sigh of release for those in attendance as VCU fans. Lawal will check out. This will force Samford to inbound from underneath. Another sub for the Rams. Billups out, Bell in.
And I tell you what, this game is not going the way I thought it would. I thought it would be what a shot by McCray.
A little bit of English might be an understatement. First 2 of the night for Jaden Campbell. Lead grows to 8 for the Bulldogs. Almost a 3-minute scoring drought for the Rams. They're 0 for 5 on their last 5 field goal attempts. Bell makes it 0 of 6. Tap in. Furman will get credit to those 2 points. I'm not entirely sure he was the last to touch it, but nonetheless, the big up to 6 on the night.
But what Furman and Toby Lawal are doing for VCU right now is they're making their presence felt physically in the paint on the rebounding. Good move. Good move.
Spin for Mature. Did everything but finish. Jackson sprawls out. Shulga thought about it. Instead, he drives in. Little bit of English off the glass of his own, plus the foul on top.
And the Ram fans go crazy.
For a man that has all 3 3-point shots to fall tonight, here does it the old-fashioned way.
Look at this here. Smooth. Cool Max, I tell you.
And the Siegel Center right back into it just like that. And pending the free throw here, we're a shot away from a 1-possession contest once more. But that's been the hurdle. Getting it to 3, VCU's been able to do. Tying it up. That's the next step. Shulga now the first player for VCU into double figures. He's got 12.
And here goes the rumble. Will Samford quiet the crowd, or will VCU make a stand right here? This is a big play. You got to be solid. Don't bail him out.
Looking for Marshall, and man, anytime you need an answer, he's been there for Samford.
And that's a tough shot.
Shulga gets it out quickly. Nelson does the same, driving and on his way up. Bell absorbs the contact and will head to the line.
Good cut to the basket by Bell as well.
12:23 to go in the second half. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Rams House on Broad Street. That's now the official pregame headquarters for VCU basketball. Visit the house for their unmatched lineups of pizza, sliders, and wings before your next visit to the Siegel Center. Tonight's game, once again, brought to you by Rams House.
I had some of their pizza the other day.
Oh,
it's delicious.
Chef's kiss from Ed Nixon.
It's delicious.
Don't even look at Yelp. You've gotten all the advice you need right there. And actually, I'm texting my girlfriend now. That's the post-game meal, too. Bell knocks it through. 4-point contest. First point of the night for a freshman from London, England. Stat McRae drives in. Pretty floater. 2 more for the junior. Foul on the play after the fact. The Boo Birds lead me to believe that's going to go against VCU. And that it is. Kwani the guilty party.
I seen Kwani and Marshall get tangled up. So did they count the basket?
Yep. Bucket's good. 6-point lead for Samford, and now the Bulldogs hit the inbound on top of it.
So it was immediately after.
Wow. Which almost serves as flagrant of sorts, right?
Yeah.
Like that same sort of effect, free throws and the ball. 3-point shot on the way for Campbell off the front of the rim, off the hands of Graziani. Nearly had the offensive rebound. Where Jermaine Marshall has been there every time Samford did it and enter. Same to be said about Max Shulga. He takes screen left, lines up the triple. Off the front of the iron. Offensive rebound, though, for Toby Lawal. He'll go back up with it. Contact on the play, and the redshirt freshman is headed to the line for 2.
And I don't know if the refs would have made it out of the Stuart Siegel Center if they did not call that foul.
And we'll come back with those 2 free throws after the under 12 media timeout. You're watching VCU and Samford 47-41. So we head to a timeout. Welcome back to the Siegel Center. Let's take a look at the Virginia Credit Union assist of the game. With every VCU assist, Virginia Credit Union makes a donation to the Children's Hospital of Richmond at VCU. The easiest 2 points of the night for Toby Lawal. Big thanks to Fats Phillips.
Great job by Fats having eyes in the back of his head right there and finding Toby, and Toby does the rest.
So we come out of the media timeout, 11:44 to go in the second half, and the only reason I mentioned that, it was the media timeout at 11:48 in the first half where things started to click for VCU. The possessions were more drawn out. The passing was more crisp. The next thing you know, Max Shulga's knocking down trifectas left and right. And then they had an answer against that Samford offense. So will history repeat itself here in the second set at 20, or do the Bulldogs have enough tricks up their sleeve to score their first win of the season? We'll get some answers throughout the rest of this contest, but we come back from the break. Toby Lawal at the free throw line. His first 2 free throws on the night. Converts on the first. Lawal, his freshman campaign, saw him go 5 of 17 from the line. As there you see first-year head coach Ryan Odom. And now the sophomore Lawal, 1 for 2 on his first 2 free throws of the night.
Now VCU has to get back and build the wall.
Stat McRae trying to work quick. Another rebound for Marshall. Well on his way to his first double-double of the season. Pass deflected by Nelson, then gathered by Jackson. Left-handed layup. That's been the answer all night long for the Michigan transfer. Give him 2 more.
And that was pure athleticism right there. To slow down and then have that burst right there at the end to finish.
Jackson had 6 very early on. He's now up to 8. Been relatively quiet, but all 8 been with that left-handed layup. Nice find down low. Looking for space. It's Campbell. Working against Bell. No space to be found. Sent out of play. Possession VCU.
And that's where Michael Bell can make his mark this year as a freshman on the defensive end. He is 6'7", looks like he's 240. Impressive specimen for a freshman body. He has quick feet, long arms. If he buys in, that's where he can get his bread and butter.
Another look at that layup from Jackson. This has been the last hurdle VCU cannot clear. They've got it down to 3. Can they tie it up? 1 possession contest. Shulga with 10 on the shot clock.
And
pass
there we
intended
go.
for Lawal, taken away. Turnover number 17 for the Rams. Nelson gets it right back. He wastes no time. Looking for Jackson. Shot fake. And now the Rams will slow the tempo. Nelson, left-handed layup, 1-point game.
And I will say this, Jason Nelson has been able to come in here and give an energy jolt to VCU off the bench. There's been a lot of 50-50 balls he's been getting his hands on, tips, deflections. You love to see it.
Marshall is 17 and 8. Here he finds Jones. Jones, 0 for 7 on the floor, 0 for 4 from three-point land. Now he's got his first make, and it comes against his former coach at a pivotal spot in the game. Wall won't get the whistle, but the Rams will maintain possession.
That was unacceptable defense by Zeb Jackson. He is more than capable to defend like that. You don't go under the screen when you're guarding a three-point shooter. No matter how hard it is, you want to chase him over the top, make him do something else than what he wants to do, which is catch and shoot.
There you see Coach Odom pleading to try to get the whistle on the play and send the Wall back to the free throw line. Instead, he'll have to settle for the inbound. 9:52 to go, in the second half. Shulga trying to back down. Staten McRae finds Jackson. His first trifecta to go.
Way to get it back, Zeb Jackson.
Zeb Jackson joins the double-figure club. He's got 11.
And VCU cuts it to 1 again.
Jones looked like he was eyeing another three-point shot. Jackson under the screen. Jones looking for 3 more. Shot no good. Rebound. Nelson. Foul on the play prevents Graziani from turning that into another Rams turnover.
And I don't know how many times we have to keep seeing this movie for VCU to understand they have to eat the ball. If they do not eat the ball, Samford is coming and swiping up, trying to get a steal. And also, that's like the 4th or 5th foul on the box out. We got to keep an eye out for that next time.
Shades of Lil Wayne. We've memorized the script. We know all the lines. It's going to be a chore at the free throw line. He knocks down both. He'll stretch out this one-possession lead to its max capacity. First, a substitution. Garrett Hicks checks on. Rylan Jones heads back to the bench. And you can hear the Siegel Center now. First end, or front, excuse me, the 1-on-1 is in. Second free throw attempt for a chore tonight. Nothing but 9 line. Give him 4 points on the night.
Big free throws there for a chore.
And it's also worth noting, he's got 4 personal fouls. So someone who, now they're going to have him check out. They're going to try to keep him clean until we get to the final stretch. And really, it feels like it's been this trio. We got to that 11:48 media timeout, and since then, I don't think we've had a whole lot of time where the Rams haven't had Shulga, Nelson, and Jackson all at the court at that same time. That one extra ball handler against the pressure makes a world of difference. Nelson leaves the three-point shot that
and another foul.
Would have tied it up, but he leaves it short. Here it is one more time. Actually, this is the three-point shot for Jackson. A big moment in this one, as you said, Ed. Foul on the play, and that's been a big issue throughout this entire contest for Samford. And now it's going to result in some free throws for VCU. Michael Bell to the free throw line. He's 1 for 2 from the line this evening.
I must say, I've never seen so many fouls called on box outs and rebounds. I haven't seen that. This is it's a thing now.
Former bigs across the country cringe in disgust. But yeah, now you've got another 9:06 to go in regulation. Both teams, at least in the single bonus. Feels like we're going to be seeing a whole lot of this down the rest of the way. Shulga out. Fats Phillips in. Bell looking to make it a 1-point game.
Big free throws for Bell.
This becomes a big possession for Samford. This game has never been tied, and Samford has led the entire way.
The entire way. Can VCU get a stop?
Dump off to a chore, working against Furman. Right-handed hook, up and in. Lead back to 3. Nelson all the way to the free throw line. Left-handed layup, no good, but he'll get the whistle.
However, I'm glad he got the whistle. But that is a very dangerous game he just played. He allowed Samford to speed him up. The referees bailed him out.
And we've talked about how, Samford, especially with the pressure, they're baiting into certain passes. That's another play where, especially if there is no whistle and that's just a miss, Samford's out and running the other way. And it's going to be tough to get numbers back. There's another look at the foul.
And that type of miss equals a turnover.
So instead, we see Jason Nelson at the free throw line. His first miss from the stripe this evening, now 2 for 3. He'll see one more. Last year at Richmond, 73% free throw shooter. Up and good on the second. Now a 2-point game.
This is what college basketball is all about.
Have you missed it?
I did. I honestly did. Two teams fighting out. This has been a grimy game.
Turnover for Samford. Billups there to collect. He'll take it up himself. Rattles it in. And for the first time tonight since it was 0-0, we are tied up.
That was a tough shot to make.
And off Graziani. Over to Hicks. Shot clock's at 10. Lofted to the big man, a chore. Double team follows. Jackson swipes it away. Rams looking for their first lead of the night.
Zeb Jackson thought about shooting that right there.
Defended by Marshall. Instead, he drives right. Staten McRae got a hand in the mix. Marshall there to gather a loose ball. Hicks, far side corner. The three, no good. Rebound number 4 for Zeb Jackson. One of just 2 players in a double digits tonight. Him and Shulga, that same pair that hit double digits on Monday night. Furman, Jackson for the lead. No good. Furman, offensive rebound. Bucket and the foul.
Furman is having a monster night right now.
It feels fitting. His 10th rebound of the night. The man's been doing the dirty work from start to finish, and we'll come back to see if he can cap off the old school three-point play. First time tonight, VCU's leading. They're up 56-54. We step aside and come back with more between the Bulldogs and the Rams on ESPN Plus. Sam Masson. Welcome back to the Siegel Center. And if you left to go and try to beat the commercial break, I am sorry you did that. Christian Furman with maybe the biggest bucket of the night, plus the foul on top. And for the first time this evening, we can say VCU playing out in front. Now we get to see if Furman can cap off the three-point play. And you said it right before we went to break that he has been awesome tonight. Talking about 10 rebounds, a ton of great defensive effort, and then now a chance, if he makes the free throw, to get up to 9 points, knocking to the door at his first double-double of the season.
Of his career.
Even better. And really just the timing of that shot. I mean, the Siegel Center was ready to erupt. That was the one to make it happen.
Absolutely.
Hangs on the rim, bounces out. Marshall gets the rebound, shucks it off Billups. Now the Bulldogs with a chance to tie it up. Trailing by 2. And this is going to be an interesting answer. You get to that timeout, and you just want to be a fly on the wall, hearing what Coach McMillan and what's going on in that Samford huddle. This felt like a game, especially early on. They've been in control. It's been their type of ball game. It's felt like this is what Samford wanted this game to feel like. And then
it
once
just
we've done this, yeah, exactly.
The 11-minute mark.
So I legitimately, it feels like that 11-minute mark, things just, a light bulb goes on for VCU. So I got to know what was said in that huddle, and now we get to see what comes out of that timeout. Nice cross there from Holloway, creates some space. Whistle on the play. It was close.
A tough one. That's a tough one. The first one was obvious. This one, a little bit closer. Could go either way. The ref decided to call a block.
So block instead of the charge that the home faithful were lauding for. 7 of the line is Holloway. Freshman from Memphis, Tennessee. First free throw attempts of the night.
Home of 3-6 Mafia.
Somewhere Juicy J is out there smiling. First one throw. That's a big free throw make there for a guy playing his second career college basketball game. Cuts the deficit in half. Now a chance to knot it up. Bell checks out. Second. Tickles the bottom of the net. Knotted up 56 all. Stat McRae back on the floor as Campbell will step aside. Spin from Shulga, finds some space, dishes out. Billups. Foul on the play, and Marshall plead his case saying his feet were set. Instead, VCU gets called for the block on one end, and now they get one on their side on the other.
The refs are calling it fair.
Consistency
is key.
Coaches don't just want that out of their players. They want it out of those in the black and white, too.
My girlfriend once told me that.
Consistency will make anybody happy.
I wasn't consistent. Now I'm married to somebody else.
Here's Billups. Knock it through the first. VCU back out in front. And Billups has put together a solid night. He's got 5 points, but he's made it count elsewhere throughout his 17 minutes. And he's done it without the three-point shot. He had 3 threes go down on Monday tonight, 0 for 3. But it's encouraging to see, especially a young player, when your go-to thing isn't there, hey, I'm still contributing elsewhere. I'm going to play a factor in a gritty win. And hopefully VCU fans, that's what they're going to get at the end of the night.
Find another way.
Mm-hmm.
That's the definition of a true basketball player. Finding another way to impact the game. Oh, my shot's not falling? Okay, well, I'll just be a rebounder. I'll play defense. I'll dive on the floor. I'll get the 50-50 balls.
And that is true of just about any real hooper out there. It's like you could lose the game but drop 30, your head's down. You could win a game and score 3, sky-high morale. Put-back opportunity, no good. That might be a possession that Samford looks back at and says, that's one we want back. Players down on the floor, jump ball.
And I'll tell you what, Max has to understand that everything isn't a walk in the park.
He makes it look so easy.
He does, but he has to understand he's playing Samford, and they are going to pressure. I don't care if you just got the rebound. I don't care if you just missed a shot. I don't care if the ball outside out of bounds. They're pressuring you. They're going for the ball. They're attacking the ball. You can't lackadaisically just go behind your back while there's still congestion.
And really nice recognition for Jermaine Marshall with, by the way, first double-double of his season. He had 4 a year ago. He's got 17 and 10. What a night he's had. But that being said, he had 15 at the half. VCU's done a good job taking away him as an offensive weapon. That being said, great hustle there. But also we've seen Shulga go to that behind the back a handful of times when he brings it up floor. So Marshall was paying attention, gets the steal, and ultimately Samford possession for his efforts. Pick and pop. Allen's patch, his first shot of the night, no good.
And you got to credit Michael Bell for his defensive effort against Marshall. He's been doing the majority of the work on him.
You said it. Find another way. Pass down low. Furman. Give him 2 more. His first career double-double.
Christian Furman. How about that?
And you want a cherry on top? How about 4 blocks? Nothing big. And that will send us to Coach's Media Timeout. 5:37 to play. Rams up by 4. We'll step aside and come back with more between Samford and VCU on ESPN Plus and Massive. Little more than 5.5 to play till we reach our conclusion. VCU leading Samford in a battle between 2 0-1 squads. It's TJ Wingert alongside Ed Nixon courtside here at the Siegel Center. And where's this game been heading over the last handful of minutes? Well, in different directions. VCU, 6 of their last 8 from the floor. Meanwhile, Samford, no field goals over the last 3+ minutes of game action. We said it, that 11-minute mark in both the first and second half. I don't know what it is, but it's working tonight for VCU. That's where the fixes have been found.
Absolutely. They've been playing tougher on the defensive end, and they've been moving the ball and getting great shots instead of good shots on the offensive end.
And that does feel like a major difference. As this game's gone on, it feels like the possessions have drawn out just a little bit longer, and then, of course, the shot quality has followed with it and gone up in the right direction for the Rams. 2-possession lead for VCU.
And if I'm Samford, I'm probably looking for McCray to make a big play right here.
Holloway far side, 8 on the shot clock. He drives against Nelson, looking to dump it off. Allen's patch, 4-star recruit, shot denied by Furman. His 5th rejection on the night. Possession goes to the Rams.
Christian Furman. Jeez Louise.
Max Shulga has come up in some massive spots. 3 threes, and then you have the and one here in the second half. But man, oh man, Christian Furman, there's another look at that block. He's making a strong case to leave this one as the player of the game.
Absolutely.
He'll catch a breather as Lawal subs in his place. Another player who's had a really nice night is the man with the ball right now, Nelson. 9 points this evening. But another steady hand when it comes to ball handler. Jackson drives. Pass deflected. Lawal in that 450-inch vertical climbs up. He's the last to touch it, however.
You can't leave your feet and try to make a pass. If you don't have it immediately, you're setting yourself up for disaster. In this case, the 20th turnover.
Holloway lost it. Nelson in those active hands. It's been transformative for that VCU defense. I mean, this is a Samford team with a lot of pieces coming back, averaging almost 79 points per game last year. Right now, just trying to scratch up to 60.
VCU got away with one right there.
Bell finds the trailer. Jackson head fake. Back to Bell. He'll drive. And the freshman with 2 just in front of the free throw line. Whistle on the play. Bell thought he had a block. Instead, it's going to go down as the 9th foul against VCU here in the second half. Next one will set Samford the line for 2 guarantee. There it is once more.
And that was a problem in communication. Toby Lawal completely left a man behind him. Samford's trying to push the ball, led to a free throw.
Jaden Campbell, good on his first free throw, giving him 3 points tonight. Had a hard time shooting it, 1 of 6 from the floor. 0 of 2 from downtown. He had a team best 11 against the number 2 team in the country, Purdue. Second attempt, up and in. Deficit back down to 4. Back on the floor, Dallas Graziani. Graziani back at Nova Southeastern, 36 game played, 33 starts, more than 11 points per contest. Tonight, just 1 shot taken. Did go through for what it matters. Got 2 points. Really, it's been the Jermaine Marshall show, accompanied by Stanton McCray. And the offense has been few and far between from elsewhere. I mean, really, look at Ryland Jones, 1 of 9 from the floor.
Yeah. VCU has did a really good job.
Shulga dishes out to Nelson. Back to Shulga. Long 2. Touches both sides of the iron. Rebound Graziani. Poked away. Bulldogs maintain possession. Nice spin. Stanton McCray. He's been silky smooth inside the painted area tonight.
Samford is still in this game. Don't let the VCU's playing with a comfort as if the game isn't close. The game is very close. You better be careful when Samford comes and steal one.
Jackson after taking screen right to Bell. Lots of contact. Marshall the guilty party, and back to the free throw line goes Michael Bell, but we'll see that once we come back from the under 4-minute media timeout. 62-60 your score. Rams out in front of the Bulldogs. We'll step aside and come back with a final stanza from the Siegel Center. 3 minutes, 25 seconds. All that remains in regulation, and all that stands between VCU and Samford. 2 sides looking for their first win of the 2023-2024 college basketball season. TJ Winger alongside Ed Nixon. And Ed, man, this one has lived up to the hype. We came in here, we were talking about it in the pregame show. This has the feeling of being a good one. 2 very good squads, but different amounts of returners. New head coach for VCU, but it still had that feeling about it that it's going to be a good one, and it has not disappointed.
Now, this is going to be a very crucial point to the game. Of course, it's the end of the game. Of course, it's crucial. However, Samford has the experience factor on their side.
Took the words out of my mouth.
How will VCU handle these last 3 minutes and 25 seconds?
And the flip side of it, especially early on in the season, it feels like a team with only 5 returners and no returning starters. You get this win, coming back from down 13 in the first half, hold on late, then you know down the stretch, hey, we can do this. This is the game we can win. This isn't abnormal for us. So we'll see. Could be a potentially big moment in the very early season for both these squads. Michael Bell, back to the free throw line, knocks through the first. And we were just talking about finding another way for some of these players. You know, Bell's now got 6 points, 4 of them coming from the free throw line. Man, he's been fantastic defensively, and really, he's been a great pass recipient. He's made those passing lanes be there, both against zone and man tonight, making it easier for whoever's trying to find him.
Absolutely. He's put himself in the right position by cutting and moving without the basketball.
All on top of the defensive efforts from him and Furman and plenty of others tonight for VCU. 3-point shot on the way. Marshall, no good. His first miss from downtown, but Samford gets it back. Shot fake, drive from their preseason all-conference honoree. Another miss. Now a whistle on the play.
Now, if I'm Toby Lawal, I have to look at myself and stop playing with fire, or I'm going to get burned. Because Marshall has already shown that he can knock that 3 down. I want to close out hard enough to make him put the ball on the ground and trust that my teammates are going to have my help.
As both sides are in the bonus, Rylan Jones, grad student from Utah and a transfer from Utah State. One of the storylines we talked about in the pregame show. But it's been a struggle to say the least. 1 of 9 from the floor, 1 of 6 from deep. This is a guy last year at Utah State shot almost 36% from downtown. This guy can fill it up from three-point land, and here able to go 2 for 2 from the free throw line. So he's had a couple of big shots fall, and those 2 free throws, big moment in this game for Samford, getting it back to a 1-possession contest. Nice feed to Nelson, 3-on-2 for VCU, and a U of R transfer into double figures with 11.
And like we talked about in the pregame show, you want to attack Samford's pressure to score. Make them pay for trying to pressure you.
VCU now with 4 players in double figures, doubling the number of double-digit scores they had on Monday night. Stat McCray, step-back tray, no good. Rebound, Bell. They'll bring it across midcourt, hit the brakes, and find Shulga.
I think Samford got away with an offensive foul right there on the screen. However, VCU got the rebound, no complaint.
Pass tipped out of play by Graziani. Shot clock stops at 12, and this is the point of the game where 2-possession lead. VCU can force Samford to play 2 opponents, the Rams as well as the game clock. It's going to be Nelson inbounding.
I love this
timeout. Coach Odom.
I love this timeout for Coach Odom. 12 seconds, 2-possession game. Make sure you get a great shot, draw up something. Love it.
And if you're drawing up a play here, who's getting the basketball?
To be honest with you, you have to go to Cool Max. You have to go to Cool Max. He's been there before. I'm pretty sure he's aware of what Coach Odom has an inkling of what Coach Odom is going to draw up. He needs to be the orchestrator of this. If it was a different situation, maybe Zeb Jackson.
Sure.
But Zeb Jackson has been a little bit pinched with the turnover bug. So I'm going with Max.
Jackson at this point, 11 points. Shulga still leads the way with 12. The other players double figures. Nelson has 11. Furman with 10 points, 10 boards, 5 blocks. Man has done everything tonight. And then on the other side, Marshall with 17, Stat McCray with 16. And that's it. Those are the 2 in double figures. And that's been kind of the scoring tandem all night long. And that's why, going back to Rylan Jones, he feels like that third scorer. You know, you go back to the days, Phil Jackson's triangle offense. And, you name an example, you need that tertiary score. And it feels like Jones was the guy that maybe it could have been. Ultimately, the shots haven't been falling. Now it's Zeb Jackson to inbound. Able to find Shulga. He's defended by Jones. Step back, 3-point shot.
Bingo.
Nothing but the bottom of the net.
I told you, go to Cool Max. Put the ball in his hand. Small defender.
Largest lead of the night for VCU.
What did I tell you?
Doesn't last long.
What did I tell you? Toby Lawal cannot continue to play with fire. He is very capable of knocking down a 3. Make him do something else. Trust your teammates to have your help.
Jermaine Marshall, 4 of 5 from downtown after getting, how about the friendly roll? I thought the home confines, you're supposed to kick that one out. But what a night Marshall's had. 20 and 10, his first double-double of the season. But the catch side of that, 4 personal fouls.
Yeah.
On the other side, you got to think VCU's trying to find a way to attack number 4 and get that 5th against him.
Get him in some ball screen work, drive to the cup. But you got to be careful because you want to make sure you get a great shot. This is a very close game. However, but like I said previously, defense wins games. You cannot give your best player who has 3 for 4 from 3 already, just let him walk into a 3. I don't care where you are.
So you see both of the last 2 possessions for each team. Shulga's 4th 3-ball to go and then tackle on the old-fashioned 3-point play. Marshall back the other way, his 4th 3-ball to fall. Man, oh man. We talked about those 2 as our players to watch, and they have not disappointed. But ultimately, it's been a balanced scoring effort for VCU, plus a couple of defensive changes that have proven to be the difference. Rams up by 4, 1:58 to go until the conclusion.
Now, I wonder if the scouting report says that he's just a capable 3-point shooter.
If it says capable, you might need to update that to say pretty great.
Right.
Or whatever word denotes hand in his face at all times.
Right.
Whatever that word is, that's the one. Drive from Jackson. What a find! The wall, the emphatic 2-handed flush.
Great job by Zeb Jackson playing off 2 feet, not jumping in the air.
Marshall, this time misses strong, just his 2nd miss from downtown. Rebound, Nelson. Hits it across half court, less than 90 ticks on the game clock. Nelson in no rush. At this point, it's a full 2-possession lead. Bucket here for VCU. Don't want to say it's the nail in the coffin, but it's close to it. Shulga.
The only good thing from that possession is you ran time off the clock.
Staten McCray, acrobatic shot, but it's no good. Rebound, Shulga. Looking long, the wall can't track it in.
And that's why he plays basketball, not wide receiver.
He's got the vertical for it. That plus, a frame of, 6'8", 50-inch verticals. I don't even want to know how high in the air that puts him. That would be Megatron 2.0.
Oh, yeah.
You got to reel it in. But really what that does, it's still a 2-possession game, and now the opportunity for Samford to go 2 for 1 here.
Absolutely. Quick. Megatron and Randy Moss.
All time?
All time.
Unpopular opinion, give me Megatron. I think he did more with less.
I'm going Randy.
I mean, the man had 23 touchdowns in one season. Oh my
And that's the first time he had a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Right. Oh, man, somewhere Randall Cunningham is wagging his finger at you. Come on, Cunningham, Culpeper days. He had okay plays in Minnesota. He's all right. Anyways, back here in Richmond, Virginia.
Oh,
Staten McCray rejected by the rim. Oh, taps it out. Possession's going to stay with Samford, but that's 2 points they want on the board.
His knees said,
Hey, going vertical, flat-footed like that?
Ooh.
I'm not doing it.
Ooh. That's on his not top 10 plays.
And what do you think about Lawal tapping that out of play? Gives you a chance for your defense to reset there? You like that play?
I have flashbacks of Bloody Divock, so no.
Rylan Jones trying to find space. Now trying to find a teammate. Couple passes later, Jackson pokes it away from Campbell. Fouled in transition. Leopard called for the foul, and no shot clock the rest of the way. 24.7 to go, and headed to the line are the Rams to put the nail in the coffin.
Wow. McCray has had such a really good game. It's unfortunate that happened to him.
The flip side of that, though, is it's still a 2-possession game. Now, then you get the full court press. You get to play the free throw game. There's a little bit more time on the clock. Things change. There's variables that move. But ultimately, 2-possession game. You need VCU to miss at the free throw line, so you would have found yourself here one way or another.
Right.
Jackson makes it a 3-possession VCU lead, and 24.7 to go. That feels like it just about does it. And you feel energy anytime you step to Siegel Center. It's a weird building, man. I feel energy in here when I'm the only one here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It like lingers. I don't know what it is, but man, oh man, you can tell the home crowd, especially after falling behind early, they wanted this one.
Oh yeah.
3-point shot, Campbell, no good. Rebound the wall. Shulga fouled on his way towards midcourt, trying to clear the 10-second violation. This feels fitting. Max Shulga, leading scorer for VCU with 15. That's the second best mark in the game.
What an incredible team effort by VCU.
For sure.
If you look down the stat sheet, you had so many people show up and do so many different things for this team. Toby Lawal, 9 points, 9 rebounds. Zeb Jackson, 13 points, 7 assists. And then, of course, Furman.
Yeah.
10, 10.
5.
And 5.
Ridiculous. Shulga good on the first. He's now got 16. And it's interesting. These are the first few points that he's getting that haven't come on some sort of three-point play. A true three or like the bucket and the foul. But really in the first half, those 3 threes he ended the first set of 20 with were massive. They came all that massive points when VCU was looking for that play to get them back into the game. That something they could swing momentum into their side. And nobody but Shulga better for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lead reaches double figures. Shulga there to collect the turnover. And the Rams will bleed out the remaining 5 seconds on the clock. The Siegel Center erupts, and the VCU Rams elevate to 1-1 on the season and bounce back from the 11-point loss to McNeese State. Meanwhile, the Samford Bulldogs start their season with a pair of road games and will leave Richmond, Virginia 0-2. Final score 75-65. Man, oh man, Ed, this was a point in the game where VCU's down by 13. They come away with a double-digit point win.
Right.
This was a fantastic showing for the Rams.
This is the type of game that shows you what you're really made of. You know, VCU had times where they could have quit, but they showed grit, they showed heart, they showed fight, and they showed willingness and togetherness. And that's something you can build on. That is how you build your own culture.
And you get Shulga with 17, Jackson with 13, with 4 players in double figures. And then on top of that, 10 rebounds from Furman, another 8 from Lawal. Everyone was doing a lot of the dirty work.
Right, absolutely. And I mean, when you have a team like this and they're playing and they're trying to figure things out, just imagine when Sean Barristow gets back. It's going to be insane.
75-65 final score from the Siegel Center. That'll do it from us here in Richmond, Virginia. I want to say thank you to my broadcast partner, Ed Nixon, as well as our director, Ian Jett, and the rest of our fantastic ESPN Plus and Masson broadcast crew. 75-65. We're going to step aside and come back, give you some final thoughts and a player of the game. Our match between the Rams and the Bulldogs.